Melissa. Happy Monday. I have a combo tutorial for you today. We are going to break out the PIXCAN mat. If you are not familiar with PIXCAN mat, you are in for a treat, hopefully. So here's how this works. So the PIXCAN mat is a cutting mat, but you don't have to use it for cutting. You can literally just use it as the PIXCAN portion, not the PIXCAN cutting portion. So the way that the PIXCAN works is it allows you to keep things in proportion when you bring them into Silhouette Studio. So for example, let's say you have the singe quill or any of these, any types of other blanks or something like that that you need to sketch on, etch on, draw on, whatever, and you need to hit a very specific area, okay, like this. How do you tell Silhouette Studio to hit this very small area of a design? If you line this up in Silhouette Studio using the grid and then use a traditional cutting mat, you can get close, but it's difficult to do, okay? So if you have a bunch of, like this is the Singe Quill kit, which I threw the link up there for you. But it comes with some really small pieces. I'm just gonna show you some of these. I mean, these things are tiny. Look, this is, these are like for earrings. These are wood for earrings. I actually did a couple yesterday so I could show you. I don't know where they got to now. Oh, here. So, but what this is I used PixScan, and you can see how small this is. I was literally able to hit the exact area that I wanted. So here's how this works. Let's clean some of this stuff up. Here's how this works. The first thing that you want to do is get your PixScan mat, okay? And you want to place your items directly on the mat. It's a sticky mat, okay? So just get this stuff out of the way. Okay, it's a sticky mat. You want to place your items right on there. Let me see if I can back up a little bit. Okay, and you want to really make sure, especially for something like this that's pretty thick, you really want to make sure it's stuck on there. It's so important that it does not move. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your phone and your camera and you're going to take a picture from directly on, no shadows, okay? See how it's dark in here? I've turned off some of the lights so that when I take this picture straight on, you want the entire mat in there. That's what you want.
This is one with few desires.
Okay. Then you are going to text, email, airdrop, whatever, the picture to yourself to get it on your computer. Okay? From Silhouette Studio, you then are going to open the PIXCAN tool. It's on the right-hand side. It's the second one down. Okay? And you're going to tell it, it's going to say import scan or, yeah, you can import the scan. So you then bring your picture. So this is the picture. I took it a few minutes ago. This is the picture. You're going to bring that in. Okay? And then what you have is the entire, your mat is here. Okay? And it has your shapes just as you have it on your cutting mat. Okay? You have your shapes. And then in this example, we are going to tell it where we want it to draw. So I have placed my designs. These designs are literally just on top. See how I'm moving it? I'm placing it directly on top of the shape. This oval and this tag are the exact size because that's how PIXCAN allows me to do it. All right. So now I'm just going to place this mat in my Silhouette, and similar to print and cut, it's going to use the registration marks on the mat. See how it has these registration marks? That's how it knows where to do it. So essentially what you're doing is print and cut with a pre-printed, or in this case, shaped material. All right, so I could also, you know, there's other ways that you can use this. I'm not going to get into all that to confuse you. But now what we're going to do is, instead of cutting, I'm obviously going to draw. And I'm going to use the Singe pen, and it's going to, hopefully, come out like this, okay? All right, so the trick is, when you have a thick product like I do, item like this wood, you want to make sure that you don't use too much force with a pen, because the pen then is going to leak, press down too much when you have too much force, okay? So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we are using less force. If you have too much ink, what happens is like this. The ink will then bleed into the grain of the wood, and you get a design that's there, but it's not as crisp or as sharp as it would be if you use actually less ink, okay? So here I've got there. All right, so let's try this. Now, you know how this works, Murphy's Law. I am on Facebook Live. I've did this multiple times. It's worked fine. But now that you're all here, it's gonna give me trouble. Okay, all right, so what we're gonna do, we've got our Singe pen. The kit that I showed you comes with all those blanks. It comes with 2 of the pens and the adapters, okay? On the Cameo 4, you are going to use the D adapter, okay? Just gonna place the pen in there, and then you're gonna put it in the right, the left tool carriage, number 1, okay? Move your spring rollers all the way to the side. You don't want them getting caught up on this. Now, you wanna be really careful. I'm gonna actually move into the send panel first. Okay, so I can set this up. Let me just get this I have a custom cut setting for this because I know, once you figure out what the best settings are, you just want to save them so that you can repeat them. And for this, it's a force of 4 and a speed of 1, okay? All right, so I'm now just going to load my PIXCAN mat in. Now, I'm gonna tell you, you wanna be really careful with this, and my suggestion is that you support the mat while it rolls in and registers, and then while it rolls out, so that it doesn't get caught up on either side. Now, remember, you need to make sure these are stuck down really good so they stick to the mat. Okay, I'm gonna tell it to send. It's looking for the registration marks, just like print and cut. I'm just gently holding it from the back so that it didn't get caught on the edge, because these are thick. I don't know how thick they are, a couple millimeters, 2 millimeters maybe. Now, I'll pull you in closer so you can see. It's drawing directly on my wood shape, okay? Now you can't see anything because this is the Singe quill. And with the Singe quill, it puts down a clear ink, and then you need to use a heat gun to activate it, okay? Okay. So this, remember, this is what it's doing. Okay. So once these are done, then I'm going to take my heat gun, and I should have put the link up for that. You want a high power heat gun, okay? The better quality the heat gun, the better results you will get, okay? See how it's burned on there? Okay? I don't know where I put that little, but there's all kinds of shapes you can use. Some of them are really small, but with the PIXCAN, you'd be able to do it. So earring, this is a little earring. I just was testing on that yesterday. I haven't done it yet. You could even do both sides, okay? Okay, so, and then you can use these in so many ways. You could attach it to a card, you know, you could use it as an ornament if you did a Christmas ornament. You could, I don't know, use it as a keychain. I was just trying to think of ways that you could use this as a keychain. The designs that we're sketching right now are from the August So Fancy bundle, which has an extra 15% off coupon. So you get the whole thing till midnight tonight for $16.99. Then the price will go back up tomorrow, or the coupon won't apply tomorrow. Okay, so it doesn't look like anything has been written on here, but if you look closer, you can kind of see, okay? Same with this one. It's almost like you're just hoping that it worked. Okay, now let me get all this other stuff out of the way. Okay, I'm going to take this off. Oops, I'm pushing the wrong thing. Okay, just get this out of the way while I am going to use the heat gun. Okay. All right, right, now here's the trick. These things, someone's asking how I placed it so perfectly. That's the magic of the Pixscan mat, okay? And the Pixscan mat can be used with any of the machines. There's actually a portrait size version as well. You can use it with the portrait or the Cameo 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm putting some tape on the back just to keep this in place while I use the heat gun. Otherwise, they kind of blow around a little bit. Okay. Now, you want this to warm up. Just watch. Okay, remember, this is what we're going for. Takes a couple minutes for it to start activating and for this to get hot enough to do it. This is what we're going for. You can see it's starting to turn yellow. Can you see? Okay, the longer that you hold the heat gun on there, the darker it will get. Okay, the darker like the burn will get. So this is the singed quill. All right. Okay, now I'll do this one. Now, this one, it was just a cut file. Again, like I said, these are from the August bundle. This one, I just did the cut file. I didn't fill it at all. This one, I put a sketch fill inside so that it would make it solid. And if you have little areas that you want to fill in, like this here has these little things and the pen didn't write there because that's not how the cut file was, but I can go in and just draw them in afterwards, and then I could add more heat. Okay. Okay, and I filled it in. All right, so that's how you do that. Now, okay, so you could put a whole bunch of these, of the little wood pieces, or if you have acrylics or whatever you're using, whatever you need to hit the exact shape of, you could put a whole bunch of them on here. Just be careful that you have this sticky enough that your items are sticking to it. You really want to make sure that they stick. And after you take the picture, you cannot move them, okay? Now, if you're looking for other ways to use the Pixscan, I'm going to give you one quick example. I'm trying to see. Let's say, I'm trying to think. Okay, so here, I don't have anything on hand, but let's see here. Let's say you have this little thing. I don't know. It's really, I mean, it's honestly anything that's a shape. Okay, so let's say we want to cut out one of these leaves from a patterned piece of paper, okay? You can do the same thing. Put this on the Pixscan, take a picture, import it into Silhouette. Now, you can then use the trace tool to trace the item that you want and leave the cut line. And then when you send this in, obviously with the blade, not the pen, it will cut exactly where your cut line is, okay? So in the example that we just did, the cut line, I obviously didn't put a cut line around the edge of this. The cut line that I used was the wording to hit right on there. But in the other option that you can use for the Pixscan is to cut out die cuts of pre-printed material. So that would truly be a pre-printed print and cut. Okay? All right, so a couple different options there. I have tutorials on the blog on how to use the Pixscan mat. I will throw another one up there as well because I did forget to add that. But that's all you do, all you need to know. If you want these designs, and 150 plus and 14 fonts. They are part of the August bundle, which ends tonight at midnight with an extra 15% off. The August bundle goes until the end of the month on So Fancy, but extra 15% off expires tonight. So grab that if you want it, and have yourself a fabulous Monday. See ya!